You're Locked On Wild, your daily podcast on the Minnesota Wild, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome in to yet another live show here on Sunday, aka What the Hell Are You Smoking? As Denny's here, yours truly is here, and we're going to have a good time here on this very warm Sunday as we talk a lot about development camp. As always, if you have questions that you'd like answered, just throw them in the comments. I'll keep an eye as we are discussing. But Denny, glad to have you here once again. And
glad to be here.
We had the opportunity to take in development camp, and had a lot of things to pull from it. So let's dive right into it.
Well, to start the show, fans. There's a few things I wanted to say. And that's regarding the Minnesota Wild coaching staff. I've never been so high on the coaching staff as I am now. Brad Bombardier and Matt Hendricks, they are doing one hell of a job. When I looked at the talent at the scrimmages, I was pretty impressed. And I'm not easily impressed. And Judd Brackett has filled the pools up. I don't know where we would be if we didn't have Judd. And it's time, Billy, for you to give him the GM chair so he doesn't get poached. Please listen to me, because you know they're going to poach him if you don't. Because his track record is just unbelievable. And we go over the players today that I got to say, I'm very impressed. So to start out, I'm going to end the show with Judd and Jesse and their show from a couple episodes ago. You all know which one I'm talking about, but I'm going to do it at the end of the show. What better way to fit What the Hell Are You Smoking? All right. Who do you want to start with first, Seth?
Let me weigh in on Bombardier and Hendricks quick, and then we'll go through the prospects, because I have moved my needle, because we at the end of last season, a lot of us, I think, had questions about where's the disconnect. Is it a development problem? Is it a coaching problem? Like, what is the biggest issue at this current moment? And having had a chance to go to development camp, having had a chance to hear Brad Bombardier's thoughts on a lot of the guys in the system, I'm moving away from development as an issue. I think they've got a good system in place. Bombardier's obviously been here for a long time.
Yes, he has.
And I was really impressed with pretty much everything that he had to say. Like the stuff that they look for, wanting to add winners to this organization and allowing some of these prospects that we have high hopes for to come in having won is great. And looking at stuff that players are doing without the puck was another key thing that he mentioned. But I think now it's all about the coaches putting the players in the best position to succeed, and that's where we appear to have some issues both at the Iowa and the Minnesota level. So I like what I've seen in the Matt Hendricks era as GM of Iowa, and so I'm very intrigued to see how they do this year. But I think he has so far. I think he's done some really good things in just building depth on that roster. And we're not going to have the same situations this year that we did last year, where that team just was so overwhelmed by everything that was going on the ice. I think they've got a direction. The key part this year is going to be getting that from the Iowa level to Minnesota. Like that's where this team is going to need to take a leap. So that's kind of my 2 cents on the whole situation. But I'm excited to dive into these players too. So you just rattle through your list, Denny, and I will add my thoughts.
Okay. Well, the first thing I want to say is on my first show, I was asked, how do I judge hockey talent? And I said, you watch the players without the puck to see what they do with it. Who creates chaos, who reads the play. Because that's how you know if they got the hockey instincts. And Brad brought it up several times, so I'm impressed as hell because, not many people think that way. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to start with Liam Ogren. After watching, he is a man among boys. He's ready. They had one of these drills. They did front to back, back to front transition. And then they had one arm stick, and that's where he really excelled. He swatted those pucks with one hand like a fly swatter. And just about everybody else had problems with the one hand. He's ready. And I expect him to make the team if they give him the chance. I mean, I don't see how he can't make the team. He looks good. His transition, front to back, back to front, excellent. I mean, didn't miss a beat. He just went through it like nothing. That's good coaching. Moving on, Riley Heidt. Oh my God. Of all the players there and all the players on the Minnesota Wild, there is nobody has the shake and bake like Riley Heidt. He's going to break ankles. He's that good. I haven't seen a player like him since maybe Dennis Savard or Chicago Blackhawks, and that's a long time ago. He has so many moves. I would put him number one. Goes to overtime for the shootout. He'd be my first pick to shoot. He's that good. I just hope he gets the chance. We'll see how it goes. He should make the team, though.
Yeah, he absolutely should. And the thing I think that stood out, and Bombardier talked about this with him, like the desire to round out his game so that he can make the NHL roster. Like, yep. I thought it was, I actually got a good laugh out of it when they talked about him working on his penalty kill. Like, who does that? Who says, okay, somebody that wants to make the NHL roster is who? Like, I'm going to take as much time as I can to get really good at a position that this team desperately needs help at, just to try to give himself a better chance to make the team. And that shows that he wants it. That shows that he is willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And if you're an NHL team, I want players like that on my roster. I want players like that because, again, and it's the big issue, I think, with a lot of these prospects. Are there going to be ups and downs? Absolutely. Some players just catch it and run with it. Some players take a little more time, but you know what happens if you don't give those players the opportunity? They never get the opportunity to do anything with it. So you just put them in positions to succeed. You'll get good results. Yes, there will be times where, there are lull games or slumps, but you just let them work through it. Put them in positions to succeed, and that's how you build a team.
I agree completely. In fact, my second line would be Ogren, Rossi, and Heidt. And oh my God, would that be a line?
That'd be fun.
They'd take over the NHL. Yes. Oh, Jesus. What a line.
You have the unreal playmaker that is Riley Height. You've got a big body in Liam Ogren, who is no slouch himself offensively. He's got a good shot. He's got a rocket shot, in fact.
Yep.
And Rossi as the center, another guy that can get to the net. Like, I just don't see how that couldn't work. Like, yes, it's a young group, but that feels like a line that really complements each other's skills.
Well, imagine Rossi with two wingers that actually shoot the puck. Jesus, he'll get 30, 40 goals.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. He really will. All right, moving on. Charlie Stremmel. Everybody's so down on bad pick. You better put that in the back of your head. Charlie Stremmel's looking good. He is filled out. He skates really well. You know, he's what, 6'3", 225, something like that?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, and he's still, 19 years old?
Mm-hmm.
He skates like the breeze. I mean, he just goes through it. In the drills, going back to front, front to back, didn't miss a beat. Looked very, very good. And 2 years, he should be on the team. He just looks that good. You know, when you lose your father at a young age like that, everybody takes it differently. And his father is guiding light. When he loses that, well, you get lost for a while.
Yeah.
And you can't blame him for anything. I mean, things happen. But it looks like he's got his head on his shoulders. Going to Michigan State should be a good thing for him. And I have nothing but the highest regards for him because, he looked really good.
Yeah. And he, as I was telling you when they were doing that 3-on-3 drill.
Yes.
He full out shoulder pushed. Like he didn't use his hands. He just leaned into another player on the other team with his shoulder, and he escorted him completely out of the play.
Yep. So I remember that.
You're starting to see him utilize that beef, and I'll even take it a step further. Looking at this Minnesota Wild roster right now, he would be the second heaviest player on the team behind Zach Bogosian, right now. And he's just gonna continue to add to that. And the thing, you hit it right on the head, Denny. The thing that impressed me the most, because I think this was something that he was knocked on for the draft, his skating looks fine. His skating is not. I don't see it as being a problem.
None at all.
So that is something that I'm sure he has worked on quite a bit, because I do remember that being pointed out in the draft, and I see him and I'm like, I don't think that's an issue.
I couldn't see any issue. The only thing that I saw wrong with Charlie Stremmel, and that's because I think it's a new drill for him, is his backhand deflections. He's got to work on that.
Yeah.
In fact, the whole team has to work on their backhand deflections because nobody was good. But I think it's a new drill for him, so it's something they got to learn. And the good thing is they have Kaprizov, who's one of the very best at it, to watch and learn from.
And if you are a player at this stage of your career and you have specific things that you need to work on, as opposed to broad things, you need to work on, your offense in general, that's a little bit more of an issue. But if it's just little specific things, those are the kinds of things that you can really put the time in on to improve upon. So it's a good spot to be in if you've got just a couple of things where it's if he improves on that, that'll just make him that much better. Yeah.
And Charlie kind of reminds me of Bobby Smith. Bobby Smith was a big boy who could skate, and he used his body well. And I think that's what Charlie's moving into. And if he does, that's a very good thing for the Wild.
Oh yeah. All of a sudden then that draft year, think about this, Denny. All of a sudden that draft year Strammel, like, if he pushes through some of this adversity and really impresses, that draft, you all of a sudden had Strammel in the first and Riley Height in the second round.
Yep. That's a hell of a draft.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Good old Judd Brackett. Please promote him.
Yeah. Let's make sure he stays.
All right, now I'm going to talk about somebody who does not get any ink. Nobody talks about him. And his dad is Pascal Dupuis. Cody Dupuis is a little small for today's game, but oh my God, what a player. He reminds me of Dennis Savard and Neil Broughton. I mean, that's how he skates. He's very smooth, and he has such a quick release. I mean, he scored a couple of goals in there where nobody's scoring any goals. He got 2. That's how good his release was. I mean, unbelievable. And I know nobody's talking about it, but somebody to keep your eye on because, boy, he's got talent. I really liked him. All right. Going over the list, Hunter Height looked pretty good. A lot of these players, they didn't look bad. They didn't look good. And I can only follow so many players during a deal. So I'm just going to, tell it like it is. Ryder Ritchie looked pretty good. He stood out a few times. And Lorentz, he was there. He was doing his thing. Rasmus Kupalainen. Oh my God, have we got a player there?
He's going to be fun. He's going to be fun when he gets here.
Yeah, he's still got to work on his transition game, but that's what he went back to Finland to do, his work on it because, oh my God, what a player. He's something else. He's someone to look to in the future. I'm excited about him. Zabetsky looked good. Jackson Nevers looked good. Pavel Novak, he looked okay. I mean, I couldn't really watch them all to really give you a definitive of what they were doing because, I'm watching certain players, period.
Yeah.
And, it is what it is when you only have, the setup that they had where we had no game to watch, which is disappointing. I wish they would have had a scrimmage so I could. The one thing that I really wish they would have had was breakout patterns and how they passed because, the last time I went to one of these was back when Matt Boldy and he's our best defenseman.
Faber?
No.
Spurgeon? Brodin?
No. Brodin. Brodin's and Adumba were trying out for the team. And back then they had breakout drills. And Brodin never missed a pass. I mean, he was excellent at it. I mean, he was far and ahead the best player there. And they had, I think, 53 players on the ice. So it was kind of a quagmire. But Dumba was the best skater with the best shot. And Brodin, so, I wish I could have seen something like that to really showcase their talents. That's the one thing that was lacking, I thought. Okay, defense. And I don't know what Jesse saw in Zev Booms saying he's 2-3 years away. He's a star in the ice right now. I mean, you can just see it. He flows. I mean, he's just, you can tell why he's the number 1 pick. He's not going to be taken 2-3 years. He'll go down the same route as Brock Faber. They'll fast track him, and he'll be here when school's done.
Yeah.
And that's the start of the changing of the guard. Faber and Zev. Oh, geez. we're going to be looking pretty good. Thank you, Judd Brackett, once again.
Yes, exactly. That was one of the things. That was one of the things that Bombardier said about Zeev is he's really close now, which I take to interpret as give him another season in Denver, and then get him up here and see what you've got. Like we talked about this a little bit too. You can tell these guys who go to these like iconic college hockey programs because they get coached up, and every minute that they are out on the ice, they're doing something. Like it's just such a minor thing, but I love the fact that even when they were just kind of passing the puck around, like in between drills, Zeev is going and taking it from everybody. Like he is going and taking the puck and really battling for it, even when it's not during a drill.
He until he hits the big club. But, I watched a few of his games in Denver and all that stuff. His skating is superior.
Yeah.
And he reads the play so well. He reads the ice really well. And either you have that or you don't. It's hard to teach that. And he just looks at the ice and knows what to do. And that's a rare gift that few people have, and we got one. Yes, it's just things are looking very bright. And then Carson Lambos, of all the players, he stuck out the most to me. He's ready to play. He looked really good. His transition game, front to back to front. I mean, everything about his game, he's ready to play. And I expect he'll be one of the first call-ups when somebody gets hurt, because he's ready. And I'm looking forward to it because he looks really good. Jesus, he's a big body. Then somebody else that nobody talks about, but I noticed him right away, and that's Aaron Pionk from Hermantown, playing for Minnesota Duluth. He's going to be an NHLer. He's a few years away, but you can just tell. He's got it. Needs to gain some weight, and a little, But, the Pionk family, they're famous. His brothers, one plays in Winnipeg, and, comes from good breed. Let's see who else. I'm going to talk about the goalie, Samuel LeVay. We got a steal there. That kid is smooth. He's, what is he, 6'4"?
Yeah, 6'4". I don't know what he weighs, but the 6'4", he is every bit of 6'4". He might even be taller than that.
And when you watch him in his drills, side to side, up and down, kicking rebounds, we got a steal there. I don't know who picked him over in Europe, but whoever did, my hat's off to you, because he's going to be an NHL goalie for us. He's that good. I don't know. Do you know, is he playing in Iowa this year?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to follow him because he's one to watch.
Yeah, he's got a fun personality too.
Does he?
Yeah.
His glove hand looked excellent. I mean, it's side to side. I mean, everything about him looked really good. And I'm not easily impressed. I looked for problems, and I couldn't see one at all with him. And let's see who else here we got. Jack Pert looks really good. He's still a year away.
Yeah.
I think. But you can tell he's well coached. Everything he does, he's very good at. He just needs to, get used to the speed of the game. His hands aren't as soft as they need to be. Several times I watch him take the pass and not do anything with it because he wasn't ready for it. And that's something he'll learn. That's easy teachable. Who else stood out? Leskovar looked pretty good too. I don't know what it is about his game, but he's big. He's a little lanky right now, but he impressed me. His transition game, and when I say transition, I mean that's going skating forward, then turn around and going back, back to front, front to back. He looked really good. He had a really nice shot too. David Spacek looked good. Kyle Masters looked good. Nate Benoit looked good. I mean, all of them looked pretty good. Some of them, they got to work on their hands. They're not used to the fast pace of a pass, but that's all part of learning again at this level. But I think out of the whole group, we've probably got 4 NHLers right now in the coming seasons. And that's impressive. Normally if you get one that'll be an NHLer, you can thank your stars. Judd Brackett has, I don't know how he does it. I don't know what he looks at, but he's doing his job right because, boy, we're going to be stocked. And in a couple of years, when everything's done with the money situation and the changing of the guard, the Wild are going to be scary. That is if they don't trade them all off.
Well,
who knows with Hines? Huh. That scares me.
Few things that I would like to dive in right off of that point, because we talk about Kaprizov. Like let's start here with Kirill. Showing him that these guys is like we just talked it through, Denny, that you've got these guys that are certified NHLers in the system. This is how you get him to stay, is showing him that those guys are capable of filling spots. But here's the key. You got to give them the opportunity to show what they've got. Like if he sees that Danila Yurov is a bona fide top line guy and is going to be his line mate for the foreseeable future, that's enticing to him. If he can see that Liam Ogren is a top 6 guy, just all these different names, if he gets the chance to see them, that's where you say, hey, this is the future we're building. You get to be the focal point of it. But like, if you just continue to roll with all these veteran guys that are essentially cardboard cutouts of each other, then he's like, well, I've been told these prospects are ready, but I haven't had a chance to see them yet.
Yeah, I know. I'm worried about Hines. I really am. He doesn't like to play the kids, and he needs to play the kids now.
Yeah.
The way our team is constructed right now, as I've said before, we're old and slow. And if he actually plays the kids and infuses the lineup, we're going to be pretty good. I like our defense. Other than Morel and Bogo, I mean, it is what it is, though. I don't know what Billy's going to do, but I know this. They got to play the kids. And if it takes them get hurt, then let's hope they get hurt right away, because the kids got to play.
Well, and we talked about on Friday's show, and the second half of that breakdown of the Central Division will be tomorrow's episode. I was going to post it on Friday night, but I'm pretty sure I had food poisoning over the last 48 hours, so that was fun. In order to compete with Dallas, Colorado, Winnipeg, Nashville, it's not going to work. It's not going to work to try to slow them down. You gotta speed up to play at their speed.
Well, the way it is right now, we're going to be chasing a puck and getting a lot of holding pennies, which is what Foligno does.
It's what a lot of them A lot
Yeah.
of them do.
Should I get into the last part now? Because I have a whole section here, and I want your input, fans. I'm talking about Judd and Jesse's show a couple days ago. I have a lot to say about it. You ready, Seth?
We got one question first from Quadrum
Okay.
that I think would be good, and then yes, we absolutely can dive into that. So Quadrum asked, and he asked this I think on the previous show, and I was going to get to it in a mailbag and forgot. Do you foresee the Wild getting a coaching change after a year or so to go get a Bednar or Brindamore type? Seems like that's what it'll take for this team to be taken to the next level. And then Dougie kind of spun off of that with the comment about Mike Sullivan, the current Penguins coach, wondering if he would come here if he is let go in Pittsburgh.
Good question. I can tell you this. I'll give you a straight answer as soon as I see what they do with the team. If the team stays the way it's constructed, we're a last place team. There's no question about it. We don't have any speed. We don't have any depth. As I keep saying, they're old and slow. And they start out 6-14. Yeah, we're going to see a coaching change. But let's see what they do first. I mean, we got to give them a chance. Hopefully, Hines will get his mind right and do the right thing, play the kids. Because, Jesus, we got some talent. When you see that Riley Height, wow, he's mind-blowing. I haven't never seen anybody with that many moves. I mean, he's going to break ankles. Think of a basketball guy, where they break him down? He's the same way on the ice. He is that good. I can't say I've ever seen it. And I've been watching hockey for 62 years. I've never seen somebody do it like that. Unbelievable. Okay, next. Any more questions?
No, that was the only question we had right now. If anybody does have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. But yeah, let's dive into the center position roster battle.
Center position. Well, as you know, and most of you watch Judd's show, when he said we have to sit Rossi and put Freddie Gaudreau in the second line center, in all the scenarios I can think of, I can't think of one where Freddie is a second line center.
No.
I have a hard time seeing him as a fourth line center. What possesses him to think that? I can't think of any scenario where that would work. It's unbelievable. I don't know if he's doing that for hits or if he's getting paid something, or what the hell are you smoking? Because I don't know what's going on with him, man. Of all the shows that I participate in, Judge Show has got the most "what the hell are you smoking" than anybody. Mostly that was Declan before, but Declan's not there now. But Judge just takes a cake with that. How can you possibly think about putting Freddie Gaudreau in the second and sitting Rossi? What possesses somebody to think like that? He certainly wouldn't be my coach. What do you think, Seth?
I don't see how, because I mean, I have many thoughts, but I feel like Rossi's spot in the lineup is not even remotely. I don't think it's even remotely up for debate. I don't
Shouldn't be.
I don't think there's any scenario, because let's look at this. So you got Joel Eriksson-Ek as your number one center. You've got Marco Rossi as your number two center. You've got likely Marat Huznadinov as your third center.
Yep.
And that leaves
the new guy.
That leaves the fourth spot for
Trennan.
Trennan or Freddie or Hartman or any of those.
They have a whole host of players that can play there.
Yeah.
We're loaded up with them.
But here's the thing. And why Freddie is the one? Like, let's just think about how far down the depth chart he has fallen since John Hines took over. When Dean was here, Freddie was the go-to center for face-offs. He played just a ton of minutes. That was Dean's go-to guy. Think about all the shootout goals. The moment John Hines took over, they're like, so hey, who's gonna be your go-to center? Are you gonna go with Freddie or are you gonna go with Joel Eriksson-Ek? And he's like, are you nuts? I'm gonna go with Joel Eriksson-Ek because he's the best center on the team. If I need a face-off, I'm gonna have him go get it.
There you go.
It like Freddie, so he is, I think, somebody that I don't think he factors into the power play at all. Freddie, that is.
No.
He's maybe your 5th or 6th forward on the penalty kill. And he's now a bottom set. Like his essential, like him being a key component just is not a thing anymore. Like he is probably at best a 4th line guy or a depth forward. So where this comes from, like, and I think the overall thought that was being discussed was we're going to see, veterans versus prospects in camp. It's like we're going to see roster battles, and is the coaching staff going to go with the veterans, or are they going to get to the point where they realize, hey, these prospects actually give us a better chance to win? And that's like I think we all agree that that's how it's going to play out. Which way they go is the question. But then I circle back, and I don't think Marco Rossi is impacted by it at all.
He's our 2nd line center, and he's only getting better. And if you think about the production from his wingers, he had none. He did most of that on his own. And you have to realize he's only the 2nd wild player to score 20 or more in his rookie season. The other is Kaprizov. What does that tell you?
Well, and I think it sends a bad message, too, for a different reason, because Marco Rossi is probably one of your hardest working players on the roster.
Yes.
They're the guys you expect to work hard, like Joel Eriksson-Ek, Kirill Kaprizov. But Marco Rossi is one of the hardest working players on the team, and he goes about it in the right way by saying, I'm going to come to the ice every day and just do my best. And so you're sending a bad message that coming in, doing your best, and if you take that out of the lineup in favor of a guy who just really doesn't fit, what sort of message are you telling the rest of the team?
Rossi's one of the few players who never took a night off. Game in and game out, he showed up to play, and regardless of the circumstances. He's got a good two-way game. He plays 200 feet. And how could anybody think he should be sitting up in the box is beyond me. Honest to God, it blows me away that Judd could say something like that. All right. Now for our favorite deer from Bar Down Beauties, Jessie. When she said that Zev is 2 to 3 years away from being a player, I don't know what she saw or how she could even think something like that. He's a star.
Yeah.
And, a year a season is only just going to help him. I'm absolutely certain they're going to fast track him just like Brock Faber. He doesn't have I didn't see any deficiencies at all. And like I said, he sees the ice so well and he goes up quick, back and forth. There's no weakness in his game that I could see. Of course, I didn't get to see him play a real game there, but I've watched him, play with Denver, and we're damn lucky that we got him. I mean, really. Yeah. Judd did his job. All right. for the last part of the show, we're officially changing our meet and greet date from the 28th of July to August 25th. The reason being is that all the North Stars that wanted to come were already booked. They got golf tournaments and softball or, whatever.
Yeah.
So we went to Zamboni's and checked it out, and we are now officially August 25th from 12 to 2, and we're including something. We're going to have a game of bags, or as they call cornhole. If anybody out there who's coming to the meet and greet has some boards and bags, please bring them, because I don't have mine anymore. Otherwise, we'll just buy some. But if somebody has some, please notify us and let us know so that, we can have some fun.
LockedOnWild@gmail.com. If you've got a set, you don't have to comment in this video whether or not you have one. If you want to just shoot an email, then we can talk offline to make that happen. But yeah, if we don't end up finding one, we will we'll make sure we have one ready. So that should be a lot of fun. We'll do a live show with the opportunity for listeners to ask questions. It's going to be a good time. We wanted to make sure that we did this right, and so moving it back to August gives the opportunity to get a few more things ironed out and to really turn this into a huge meet and greet.
Yes. A couple more things too. Who just committed?
Alexis Pearson.
Yes. Alexis Pearson will be here.
We'll get some PWHL chatter, and there's a lot to discuss there. So we're working on trying to get some PWHL players as well, because anytime a team wins a title here in Minnesota, like, you got to celebrate it.
Have to.
And
nobody's promoted them. Nobody's done anything for the team. We're going to.
Yep.
And the bottom line is that game against Boston for the championship. I've never seen a game of hockey played so well in my life. What they did to Boston was unbelievable. I've never seen a game played that well. They just kept the puck, moved back and forth, and took a shot and just kept going around and circle around. It was a beautiful thing to watch. I don't know how many people watched the game, but you can give me your thoughts on it, because it really was a thing to behold.
They outshot Boston, I think, something like 44-14 or some just insane disparity. It's something that we don't see hardly at all here in Minnesota, is a team in a championship game just going out and taking the game, like going out and not allowing there to be any question. We're just going to go beat the brakes off the other team and go win this damn thing.
And that's what they did.
Yeah.
Our champions. And hopefully we're going to have 5 or 6 of the girls there. We're working on it. Also, I'll tell you who I'm working on getting on the show. They're not committed yet. We're working on it. Neil Broughton, Dino Ciccarelli, Bobby Smith, Steve Payne, Al McAdam. These are all guys that hopefully you're going to see this summer on the show. I'm working on it. Plus, I got one really big name, but I can't say it yet because I got to get them in. But it's huge. And then, of course, we're going to have Beyond the Pond there. And has a Soda Pod said yes or no yet?
Not definitively, but I don't think that will be a problem.
Yeah, we're going to have a couple. We're going to. It's just going to be a good time. You get to have a beer, talk hockey, shoot the shit, play some bags, and we'll just have a good time. I mean, that's what this is all about. And to meet our subscribers. I mean, hey, what better way to do it?
I can't think of a better way.
There you go. Now, also, when we were at Zamboni's checking out the back on the deck there, I met somebody, and I promised her I would promote her show. Her name's Rachel Kennedy, and it's called Zamboni's on 7th. It's July 11th, and it's free. And they got a bunch of comedians, and hey, if you're looking for a good time out that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg, there you go. And what's wrong with going and seeing a bunch of people talk shit? You know what I mean?
Right. And I think she said that they do comedy shows every Thursday.
That could be
at Zamboni's because you know that 11th date was right during development camp. But I think if I remember correctly, I think there were shows going on every Thursday at Zamboni's. So if you want to see a little comedy, and are not looking, you know, we get comedy enough watching particular players just skate around and not contribute in the lineup at all. If you want some actual comedy, head to Zamboni's for that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, how can you go wrong when it's free? There you go. And let's see what else we got on the list today. Any questions?
We had a couple of things on the lineup. I'll start with Dougie here. BG needs to stand by his word, and if the kids earn it, he makes the tough decisions and moves the geriatrics out. Because that was said in the end of season presser, is that veterans on the team should keep an eye over their shoulder for this upcoming season and beyond. And so, you know, saying that is great because we're all thinking it. But now the big key is actually doing it.
That is, you know, and John Hines has specifically stated before, he doesn't like playing kids. And that's why he's the wrong coach for the Wild. And if this team, if he does what I think he's going to do, we start out the first 20 games with 5 or 6 wins, he'll be gone. Because, number one, it's hard enough to buy groceries these days than to pay all the money for a ticket to go see the game. And so the first thing that's going to happen, people stop going, which they need to if that happens. Because old and slow doesn't make it. Billy has to get out of his own way. You know, he's good at making deals, but he's certainly not good at signing contracts and making contracts. And it's time for him to let Judd take over and just let him be the boss.
Yeah. I
have high hopes for the Wild. Our farm team is as deep as I've ever seen it. We got some talent. Question is they going to play him? What they did last year with Beckman doesn't bode well. I mean, Beckman never really got a chance.
No.
And, you know, why? Do we want a winger who takes one shot every other game on the second line who produced 3 points in 18 games? No, we don't want that kind of player. We want someone who's going to play. God. Oh, I still don't get it. I still haven't gotten any answers from anybody of how somebody who plays so poorly, who's 77th ranked last as a winger, continue to be a second line wing. I don't get it. I don't know. It hurts me to think about it.
It was a stressor all season for me because I felt like I was harping on it way too much, and then I listened to what some other sources. I mean, Russo mentioned it a bunch, so then I was like, no, we talked about it enough, but I just would rather not have to talk about it for another season. But I guess we'll see because Johansson he's in a contract year. And so what that usually means is a guy plays not only for his team, but for the rest of the NHL. And so I just hope that there's not like a, well, hey, if we can just get him to play like this, let some other team be the one to deal with that.
Well, Dougie, you hit it right on the head. No, we'll see what happens. I hope they play the kids. We keep asking for it, but until we see it.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Because I'm telling you, Riley Heidt, Ogren, they need to be on the team. They're that good. I haven't been this impressed with a player, and I can't tell you how long. When Kaprizov was over in Russia and I was watching him on Beyond the Pond, I told Pat Micheletti that he's going to be our best player ever. And, of course, me and Pat got in an argument about it, but I guess I won out on that one.
Yeah, that turned out all right.
Yeah. And Riley Heidt, I haven't never seen anybody like him. I haven't seen moves like that. He's like I don't know, he's got jets on his skates or something. He's going to be fun to watch. I'm going to tell you that. You're going to love seeing him.
Oh, yeah. And it's, on this topic of winning now. At some point, the players, the prospects graduate ahead of some of these veteran guys to where you can't even say like player X gives us the better chance to win now because player Y is just far and away the better player. And it feels like we are at that point right now. But now we need to see the roster spots opened up to give those young guys the chance.
Well, in my opinion, the first thing they have to do, they have to buy out Freddie. Get rid of his contract. That ensures Riley Heidt a position.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. I mean, I'll have a lot to say once they got the team assembled. But until then, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt. And, Hines showed his true colors as a coach when he took all our all-stars to the big game. And, he looked just terrible. Our team was a mess. I mean, we lost games that we had no business at all losing.
Yeah.
And that kind of tells you where Hines is at. I mean, let's be honest. He's Billy's buddy. That's it.
Yeah. Alex has talked about it on our Monday show quite a bit. Like that was decided way back is if Dean is ever fired, John Hines is going to be next. And like, could you have just done a search? Just do a coaching search and see if you can get somebody to come in. But the other part of it too, on the Freddie Gaudreau topic, a lot of times the reason that players aren't moved off a roster is because they bring you a skill set that is not replaceable. Like that would be a reason to keep Kirill on the roster, Matt Boldy, Brock Faber. Some of these guys have skills that you can't replace with somebody else. Can you say that about a single thing that Freddie Gaudreau brings to the table? Like, let's just go. Like, let's just go through the options here, and it's a yes or no. If Freddie were to get bought out, you're down a center. You've got Yakov Trenin, you've got Ryan Hartman, you've got you've got two or three other guys that can step into that center spot. So that's not one thing that's that is in favor of Freddie staying. Like I said, I don't think he's going to factor into the power play at all with this team. So that's another one. Penalty kill. You've got, I mean, if it sounds like Matt Boldy is going to potentially get some penalty kill time this year. So that pushes Freddie Gaudreau further down the line. And so that's not a thing that he brings that's irreplaceable. As Hoptics mentioned in the comments, he went from being like the most dependable shootout guy 2 years ago to not being able to even get a shot off on shootouts.
Exactly.
So that's another thing that brings him down. And this is furthering the point. Is I just don't think he brings anything to the table that you absolutely will miss if he's gone. But what getting rid of him will do is free up a roster spot for somebody that does bring something to the table that you don't have already on the roster.
Well, I can tell you this. If we don't see Riley Height, Rossi, and Ogren together, there's something wrong with the coaching, because that's going to be a dynamic line. And let me tell you something. You can't hit what you can't catch. And believe me, you aren't going to catch them.
we've been on the wrong end of that quite a bit. And so
yes.
It'd be nice to be on the right side of it for once. It's just, another topic, like another key thing that I'll be talking about here over the next few weeks is eliminating redundancies. There are a lot of redundancies in that bottom six.
They're all the same.
Let's consolidate that a little bit. Oh boy.
What?
I'm going to pull Dougie's comment up here because this is probably going to frustrate me to the point that I'm going to have to excuse myself. Have you heard the chatter about moving Eck to wing and playing Rossi between Eck and Kaprizov? I have not. I would.
That's not going to happen.
I would probably be against that.
Why would you break up the most productive first line in the NHL? You don't. I think that's just somebody talking.
Well,
they're not going to move. They're not going to move right now, no matter what.
On the irreplaceable part, Joel Eriksson Ek's your best center. He's your best faceoff guy. He's your power play. He's your net front guy on the power play. Now he can still do that on the power play, but that would be one I would not be in favor of, because now all of a sudden you're playing your two best centers on the same line, so you're worsening the roster with the hopes that you potentially get. I
don't see it happening.
I don't think so on that.
Yeah, how can you break them up? I mean, I just don't see why you would break them up.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's no reason to.
I don't know, Dougie, who I don't know who
you don't fix what's not broken.
Brought that up, but I'm gonna put myself in the not in favor side of that argument.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No, I think that was pretty much it. Everybody was excited to hear the development camp thoughts. Trav does have this as to an area that Zeev can work on, is that he tends to overhandle the puck. And this coming from Trav, who watched pretty much every second of Denver hockey this year.
He's religious.
So that would be something that he can work on. But again, I think all the strengths that Zeev brings to the table far outweigh the areas he needs to improve, and I think the areas he's strong in are good enough to mask the ones that he's not, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think he's got enough to get to the NHL level, and it'll be.
Sometimes when you overhandle the puck, is because you're trying to make something out of nothing.
Yeah. Let's end on this question: who would you give the C to if Jared Spurgeon does not keep it?
Oh, easy. Kaprizov. It's his team. No question about it. And like I've said this before, what better captain can you have than when he can swear at the refs in Russian and they don't even know it? I love it. Really? Is that it for today?
Yeah, I think that's a good spot to leave it for today.
Okay, well, then I'll end it with this. To Judd and Jesse, what the hell are you smoking today? Yeah, that's it.
That's our show. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure
See ya. Thanks for coming.
Make sure to hit that like button, and we will catch you for more Locked On Wild content here throughout the rest of the week.